I never believed in ghost stories. Not even in New Orleans, where they say the dead don't leave, they simply learn how to parade. It was the early hours of Mardi Gras, past 3 in the morning. The main avenues were still breathing celebration, but they were beginning to thin out. Confetti clung to the wet asphalt. Broken bead necklaces reflected the dim streetlights like tiny eyes scattered across the ground. The air smelled of alcohol, sweat, and something old. That's when my phone died. Black screen, digital silence. No GPS, no calls, no help. I decided to cut through a side street, a street too dark for a city that never sleeps. That was the moment I realized I wasn't the one who got lost. Something had found me. As soon as I turned the corner, the sound of the party vanished. It didn't fade, it disappeared. No music, no laughter, no sirens in the distance. It was as if someone had ripped the sound out of the world. Only fog, thick, low, crawling along the ground like living smoke. The air grew colder, heavier, hard to breathe. And then I heard it, a trumpet, slow, dragging. The first note echoed like a lament, then another and another, like a funeral procession cutting through the night. But it wasn't joyful the way Mardi Gras should be. There was no celebration in that melody. It was heavy, sad, wrong in a way that made my chest tighten, wrong like something that should not be there. And worst of all, the sound was getting closer. They emerged from the fog all at once. They didn't walk in, they didn't run. They simply were there. Dozens of masked figures. Old costumes, faded feathers, fabric stained by time, cracked papier-mâché masks frozen in smiles that didn't match the eyes behind them. They weren't dancing, they were gliding, as if their feet never fully touched the ground, as if the asphalt wasn't solid to them. And all of them were looking at me, not at the street, not at each other. At me. No one blinked. Not a single muscle twitched. It was like staring at statues that were breathing. The band followed behind them. Old instruments, tarnished, dull, and they played a distorted version of When the Saints Go Marching In, but far too slow, far too heavy. The notes dragged through the air, bent, drowned, as if they were being played underwater. And with every measure, they took one step closer, unhurried, as if they knew I had nowhere left to run. They emerged from the fog all at once. They didn't walk in, they didn't run. They simply were there. Dozens of masked figures. Old costumes, faded feathers, fabric stained by time, cracked papier-mâché masks frozen in smiles that didn't match the eyes behind them. They weren't dancing, they were gliding, as if their feet never fully touched the ground, as if the asphalt wasn't solid to them. And all of them were looking at me, not at the street, not at each other. At me. No one blinked. Not a single muscle twitched. It was like staring at statues that were breathing. The band followed behind them. Old instruments, tarnished, dull, and they played a distorted version of When the Saints Go Marching In, but far too slow, far too heavy. The notes dragged through the air, bent, drowned, as if they were being played underwater. And with every measure, they took one step closer, unhurried, as if they knew I had nowhere left to run. I ran. Without thinking, without looking back, the air burned in my lungs. But the music didn't speed up. Neither did they. The trumpet remained slow, dragging, funereal. Even so, they were always closer. No matter how fast I ran, the distance never increased. The footsteps behind me didn't echo like normal steps. They didn't strike the asphalt. They made a wet sound, the sound of water being pushed aside, as if dozens of feet were crossing a shallow river, as if the street itself had turned into a riverbed. The whispers began, low, overlapping, coming from every direction. Stay, finish the parade, you already belong. The voices weren't aggressive, they were calm, patient, as if they knew I would eventually give in. I turned into an alley, too dark, too narrow. I took 3 more steps and stopped. Dead end. The wall in front of me seemed taller than it should have been. The music stopped. Suddenly, no final note, no echo, absolute silence. No wind, no breathing, nothing. I felt the air grow cold behind me, and then a hand settled on my shoulder. Cold, heavy, wet. Water ran down my neck, and a voice very close to my ear whispered, "Now it's your turn." I woke up at sunrise. The light was faint, pale, too cold for an ordinary morning. I was alone, lying near the riverbank. The water moved slowly, as if nothing had happened, as if nothing had ever happened. My clothes were damp, heavy, covered in glitter and mud. The smell of the river soaked into the fabric. Around my neck was a string of black beads, old. The beads were dull, worn by time. Attached to it was a small metal tag, cold against my skin, with a year engraved on it, and a name, mine. My stomach twisted. I wasn't born in 1984. When I got home, shaking, I turned on my computer. I searched for old Mardi Gras parades in New Orleans. After a few minutes, I found it. A black and white photograph, grainy, dated that very same year. A different kind of procession, quieter, darker. It wasn't a normal parade. It looked like a collective funeral. And there I was, standing among them, wearing an old costume, the same string of black beads around my neck. The others beside me had the same swollen faces I had seen that night. And I was smiling, eyes open, unblinking, no reflection in them, as if I had never left the water. And in the lower corner of the photo, almost erased by time, there was a caption, "New members of the parade." Since that morning, I can no longer listen to carnival music, because sometimes when the house falls silent, I hear a trumpet, slow, dragging, getting closer.